The Prophet of Thought Theory.
Open your mind.
The Prophet of Thought
All right. Welcome back to the Prophet of Thought series right here on Nubia Hood Radio, the sound of consciousness. I know it's been a couple weeks since y'all heard me, but tonight it's going down, y'all. Tonight we're going to have a very special interview tonight. Tonight we are interviewing the one and only Jane Elliott. I'm pretty sure y'all are familiar with Jane Elliott. She is the retired third grade teacher, and she's mostly known for her blue eyes, brown eyes exercises and experiments. She's been all over the world. She's been teaching us about racism and prejudice for the past 43 years, I believe. She's wrote a number of books. I mean, she wrote Understanding Prejudice. She wrote A Class Divided, Then and Now, and Ethics of Becoming. She wrote Iron Skin. She wrote The Everyday Language of White Racism. She wrote The Little Prisoner. I mean, it goes on and on and on. She must have wrote like 20 different books. Like I said, she's been doing this for about 40 years. She's going to be coming on here tonight, an exclusive interview, only caught on the Prophet of Thought series, y'all, because y'all know how we do it up here. And let me hit y'all up with, because Mrs. Elliott isn't calling in for about another 20 minutes, because, you know, she's on CST. You know, we on EST. So, you know, me and her, we had to work out the, you know, the time logistics. So she's coming on in about another 25 minutes. So let me just tell y'all about some things that we got coming up. First and foremost, next week, we're supposed to have Dr. Mamie Smith on. Her and I have been corresponding. Y'all may not be familiar with Dr. Mamie Smith, but she's an author and a writer, and her specialty is people who have lost children, because she lost one of her children in a car crash a very long time ago. And she actually educates people on how to deal with it, how to deal with the emotional problems and the emotional crisis and things like that. There's a lot of that in the black world, because, you know, here at the Prophet of Thought series, we focus on the black world. And there's a lot of that. I know a lot of people personally that have lost a child, and it happens a lot, you know, in the black world, and we don't talk about it a lot. You know, we kind of keep it held inside. So, I mean, next week we're gonna do a little something different from y'all. So we're probably gonna have Dr. Mamie Smith on. Then the following week, we will be having, I mean, me and him, we've been talking to, I know y'all think I'm about to say Dr. Umar, don't y'all, but I'm not. But I'm not. I'm supposed to be having this brother on from New York City. His name is Randall Thomas. And any of you who are avid YouTubers of the New York scene, like New York City Resistance and people like that, Mr. Thomas is actually one of those people. He's actually what you call a member of the Cop Watch. He's always videoing NYPD. You know, he's caught a lot of stuff on film, so on and so forth, and he will probably be on next week. I mean, not next week, the week after next. Next week is going to be Dr. Smith, and the following week we're going to try to get Sean Randall Thomas on here. So, you know, y'all know I'm always reaching out to the good guests for y'all. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's gonna be going down, y'all. You know, I mean, I know I haven't been around. I know things have been moving a little crazy. Y'all probably like, what the hell is X doing? But X is building. For those of you who don't know, X has moved. You know, the studio setup is in another town. And I'm settled in now, y'all. You know, I'm still, you know, trying to tweak myself out, but I'm in a new situation. It's bigger, it's better where I am. My whole setup is different, so I'm gonna be bringing y'all some good stuff. You know, y'all just gotta hang in there with me. I'm gonna be bringing y'all some good guests. But up until up until Mrs. Elliott called in, let me give y'all a little bit of background of what's going on right here on my end, because those of you who follow the Prophet of Thought series, y'all know that we broadcast from Charlotte, North Carolina. And Charlotte has been a hotbed now. Now, me, I don't live in I used to live in Northeast Charlotte, over there where it's going down at, but I moved from there. I moved a little further south. I live in a hamlet now called Ballantyne, you know, around a lot of white folks. So, you know, I'm kind of away from all that stuff, but I am abreast on it, so I just want to kind of bring y'all up to speed on what's going on. As y'all know, a man was shot, okay, in Charlotte, okay, a couple days ago, and they claim he had a gun, all right, but his family is saying that he had a book in his hand. Okay, that's what the family's saying. The family said he had a book in his hand, but they're saying that the cops said he had a gun. He was actually out there waiting. He was waiting on his son, I believe, to get off the school bus, and the cops came there. They were actually, I believe, they were looking for someone else. They got into some type of altercation, some verbal altercation, and a man was shot and killed out there. And this happened in Northeast Charlotte, actually not far from where I used to live. There's been riots out here. People have been going crazy. The National Guard has been enacted. So we got the National Guard in our city now, and they're talking about having a curfew over this. Someone was shot last night. That person, I don't know his name. He was shot last night out here, and people are saying that the police did it, but of course the police are saying that they're saying that another citizen out there shot him. So all that's been going on, and all that stuff has been surrounded around the shooting of Mr. Keith Scott was his name, Keith Scott. I forgot to mention that, you know, because I know I got some people in Charlotte that listen to me. I apologize for that. The man's name was Mr. Keith Scott, who was shot and killed on Tuesday. So allegedly had a gun. You know, that's what the police always say. Oh, he had a gun, he had a knife, he had a toothpick, he had something. They always say that. And right now, the people have been going berserk out here, y'all. They've been going berserk. They've been looting. You know, they've been up on North Tryon. I don't know if y'all familiar with the Charlotte area. Charlotte is a very highly populated place. You know, it's a lot of Negroes out here, okay? And some of those Negroes happen to be niggas, unfortunately. And the niggas have been looting. They broke into Walmart. They broke into a couple convenience stores. They've been looting. They've been breaking windows out of cars and breaking shop windows and all this kind of nonsense, you know, stuff that has nothing to do, okay, with the man being shot, okay? It has nothing to do with that. But this is what they've been doing out here. It started last night. The last couple of nights, because it happened Tuesday, the last couple of nights, Tuesday and Wednesday, it was kind of peaceful in the beginning on Wednesday, but, you know, it only take one or two to start acting up. You know, and it's like a domino effect, because the people who thinking about it now, they're emboldened. You know, they like sheep. You know, all it takes is one person to go into the corral, and now you got 300 of them. So they started looting and going on, and they throwing rocks and bottles, and the police, they done bucked up. So they getting ready for Negroes to act up. Like I said, the National Guard has been enacted out here, and they had a press conference today. Mayor Roberts, who's the new mayor of Charlotte, she had a press conference today, and she talked about how the city is open for business. The police chief, I believe his name is Mr. Putney, I believe. The police chief was on today, and pretty much what he said is, you know, people have a right to protest and all that, but we're not having the violence, we're not having the fighting, we're not having the looting. We're not having none of that. So any of you in Charlotte that's listening to me, you need to stay your ass home if you don't plan on going out there and being peaceful, because they are ready to lock your ass up, and they have the help of the National Guard to do it. I talked to a couple people today because everybody know I'm in Charlotte, and they were writing me and they was talking all this nonsense. You know, the stuff brothers have a tendency to talk. Oh, we need to go to war with the police and all this kind of nonsense. I think that it's ridiculous because, number one, we don't have enough money. Number two, we don't have enough guns. Number three, they got the military with them. So guess what? Even if it's 5,000 of y'all, with all your guns, with all your 38s and AR-15s and whatever you got at your damn house, well, you can march down there to the police station if you want to, okay? And you may take out 20 or 30 cops possibly, but guess what? What they're going to do is they're going to lay down all 5,000 of you, okay? All 5,000 of you are going to get laid down, and ain't nothing going to get accomplished. I tell brothers this all the time whenever they telling me this nonsense about going to war with the damn police. Number one, brothers, we don't have enough guns, okay? We don't have enough guns to be doing that kind of nonsense. It's ridiculous. Quit talking about it. Quit thinking about it, because you ain't going to do it. And the brothers who always talking about doing it, they ain't going down there anyway. They ain't going down there. They're not. So we need to stop talking that nonsense. I don't want nobody to lose their life, okay, over something stupid. One guy done already lost his life because of some reckless police officer. We don't need 20, 30, 40, 500 or whoever losing their lives down there. We don't need no more loss of life down there. So everybody just need to remain peaceful. I'm not going to try to dissuade you from going downtown and protesting. You have a right to do that, but don't go down there trying to break laws and all that nonsense, thinking your ass ain't going to get locked up, because the police chief was on TV today, and guess what? You do something that's out of order, you are getting locked up. They're going down there with transit buses, so they make sure they got enough room to throw your ass in there. They ain't going to run out of room at the jail, okay? They're not going to run out of room. So don't go down there acting a damn fool. If you're going to go down there with some sense. Go down there to support Mr. Scott's family. Go down there to protest whatever you got going on inside your heart, inside your mind, whatever you feel. But don't go down there setting cars afire. Don't go down there breaking store windows. Don't go down there looting markets. Don't go down there doing that, because none of that shit has anything to do with that man getting killed. And anybody who doesn't understand that is a damn fool. Okay, you a damn fool, okay, and you taken away from the people who are down there with a legitimate purpose, with a legitimate gripe, and with a legitimate right to protest. You are distracting from that, because see, once a group of y'all start doing that nonsense, guess what happens? Now they equate everybody to it, okay? They equate everybody with the nonsense that a handful of y'all are doing. And I know the majority of people down there are down there peaceful. They're not breaking the law. They're not throwing rocks, bottles. They're not shooting. And they're not breaking into damn Walmart. It's a couple of you dumbass niggas who down there making everybody else look bad, like you always do. Like you always do. Like you always do. So knock it off. Knock it the hell off. If you're going to go your ass down there, go down there and don't act like a damn fool. All right? And I don't care if you don't like it. That's what I'm saying. Don't go down there acting a fool. Don't do it, because they're ready for you. I'm telling you, they are ready for your asses tonight. Okay? And you go down there, mess with them police, go down there, break it into shit, doing shit. They got the military down there. Some of you dumbass fools might end up shot. So keep that in mind when you leave your house tonight, going down there talking about, you hear them talking about, oh, we down here like the Taliban and all this kind of nonsense, man. Grow the hell up. What the hell is wrong with us, man? That's why we can't never get nothing accomplished, because we're always doing the wrong shit. We got to stop doing that. We got to stop doing that, y'all. Okay? I had to talk about this tonight. I didn't want to dissuade from what we trying to do tonight, because we got Miss Elliott on tonight, and we wanted to talk about that. But being that I'm in the city of Charlotte, I would be doing y'all a disservice not to say anything about what's going on in Charlotte tonight. Okay? Now, as it stands now, I don't know what's going on down there right now. I don't have anything coming through my feed right now of any relevance, you know. And I think there's a few people out there, I believe, on, let me pull it up. I believe there's a few people out there on like North Tryon. Let me see. Yes, a few people on North Tryon, I believe. Let me type it in. Let me see what they're doing down there. Make sure the natives ain't acting a damn fool. Make sure the natives ain't acting a damn fool down there. See what's going on. Let me see what's going on. Yeah, I don't see anything of any consequence going on right now. I know there's a plan on marching, because last night they were at the transit center. Those of you who are familiar with the Charlotte area, you know, y'all know what I'm talking about. But those of you who are not, the transit hub is this big, you know, it's this big hub in downtown Charlotte, you know, where all the buses and the trains where they center up. And that's where it was going down last night. That's where most of them were at. And they made their way up. They made their way up east. And as they were making their way up, the police were talking about today that they were on the 277 loop. When you coming out of uptown Charlotte, you run into all those major interstates. You know, 51 is there, 277, 77, and, you know, they all kind of intertwine. And they were up on the 277 loop, okay, which is a 3-lane highway interstate, by the way, and they were disrupting that, you know. So, you know, the police wasn't having that. You know, they came up there, dispersed all of that. You know, they got rid of that. And as they were making their way up, I guess I want to say northeast. I guess it was making their way up northeast. They ended up towards where, you know, Walmart and all those little shops are, that little hub right there where they're building the new light rail. You know, they made their way up there, and that's when people start looting, breaking in stores, damaging property, you know, breaking windows, you know, the nonsense, nonsense that hasn't, like I say again, nonsense that has nothing to do with the cause, you know. It's just a bunch of freaking niggas out there taking advantage of a situation. That's all they're doing. Because, see, they didn't come there to protest anyway. They came there to raise hell, cause problems, okay, and break in the damn stores. All right? That's why they were there. So that's what's going on. Like I said, I don't see nothing coming across the ticker right now. There's a very heavy police presence in this city, especially where there's a lot of businesses and stuff at. There's a lot of police presence. Like I said, the National Guard is here, you know, so they're ready. Okay, they're ready. They're ready to rock and roll. And like I said, if you're going to go down there with some damn sensibility. Go down there with some mindfulness of the situation, and go down there to be safe, man. Don't go down there and get yourself shot, okay, over something stupid. Don't go down there and get your damn self shot, okay? One man had already been killed. The other man, he's in critical condition. I don't think they released his name yet, but he's in critical damn condition. I mean, we don't need nobody else shot, okay? We don't need nobody else shot. And obviously, the whole reason why the protest is going on, because we know that the police don't have a problem putting a hot one in you, okay? We know they don't have a problem putting a hot one in you. So why in the hell would you go down there and do something intentionally to get yourself shot, man? Why would you do that? Don't do that, all right? Don't. Just don't, all right? Be cool, be calm, okay? Go down there. Speak your piece, okay? Speak your mind, shout, chant, say Black Lives Matter, say, fuck the police, shout out Mr. Hill's name, whatever you want to do. But don't start breaking laws and get yourself locked up or get yourself shot down there, man. I'm serious. I mean, and you people, man, and I got to chastise you damn people, too. Because, man, I've been watching this stuff, man, and I've been watching it. It was like 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night on a live feed, and I see people out there with their 4- and 5-year-old kids out there in the midst of that shit while people are throwing rocks and bottles and shit. What the hell is the matter with y'all, man? Come on, people throwing rocks and bottles, people shooting and shit. Why the hell do you got your 5-year-old out there? What is your 5-year-old doing out there? What are they doing out there? You need to get out there so bad that you're willing to bring your 5-year-old babies out there? I mean, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you people. I don't know what's wrong with you people. I don't know. If you don't have any damn care or concern about your own damn safety, at least have the damn wherewithal, okay? Have the wherewithal to not have your damn babies down there, okay? At least do that. Jesus Christ, the matter with y'all? What's the matter with you? Come on, man. You listening to the Prophet of Thought series on Nubia Hood Radio, the sound of consciousness. Let me give y'all the number so y'all can call in. The phone number is 712-775-7031. That's 712-775-7031. Access code 840981. If you wish to opine, like I said, in about 10 minutes, we're going to have Miss Jane Elliott on here, and we're going to let her talk all the shit she want to talk, y'all. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to let Miss Elliott let it rip, boy. We're going to let her let it rip. Because anybody who knows anything about anything, and anybody that has a Facebook page, they have seen her videos. They have seen her exercises. She's been to the UK. She's been to Australia. She's been to Italy. She's been to Spain. She's been to all these places doing all these exercises. And the crazy thing is, when she starts to exercise, she doesn't start the exercise with black and white or brown and white or anything like that. She actually have mostly white people inside these exercises, and she divides people up in blue eyes and brown eyes. And the crazy thing is, she puts the blue-eyed people, she makes them wear like these collars, and she basically just treats them like shit, y'all. Okay? She treats them like shit, all right? And she's basically putting them in a position to kind of feel what black people feel, okay? And the crazy thing is, what it does is it kind of exposes people's knowledge of racism and prejudice, their lack thereof, it exposes, and it also exposes some people who think that there is no racist problem. And it also exposes people, who think that what black people go through in their daily lives is similar to what they go through when they go to work. Now, mind you, these are white people, right? They say, oh, you know, if I'm dressed a certain way and, you know, people look at me a certain way, I have to dress a certain way at work, because if I walked in there, you know, with my clothes dirty and my hair scuffled up, I'd get treated differently, as if that's the same as being black. Okay, as if that's the same. Okay? Which is totally ridiculous. I hate when white people say that. Like, oh, well, I go through some racism too, you know, if I dress a certain way. Yeah, and guess what you can do? You can go put on a damn suit and cut your hair, and there you go, a white man. Me, no matter what the hell I got on, no matter what day of the week it is, okay, no matter who I say I am, I can say I'm Japanese. But guess what they see standing in front of them? A damn black man. So just knock that nonsense off, will you? I don't want to hear no damn white person telling me they know what black people feel, because that is pure and unadulterated bullshit on its face, okay? That is bullshit, all right? So they need to knock that nonsense off, talking about they understand what it's like, what black people go through, because that's bullshit. They don't understand a goddamn thing, okay? They just don't. Okay, those are the worst people. Those are the worst ones. And they're probably the biggest damn bigots. Okay? The ones who, I go through the prejudice too. Shut the hell up. Okay? You're white. You're white. You don't go to do that. No. You're white. You can't say that. You just can't say it. I'm sorry. I don't care what you think, what you feel. It's bullshit. What you should be doing is saying, damn, I never thought of it like that. Damn, I never seen it that way. Don't start telling me you go through the same shit black people go through, because that's BS. That's BS, and you know it. It's BS, and you know it. You know, you prejudiced, bigoted ass people, and that's that. Okay? And I wanna talk to y'all about prejudice and bigotry and the word racist and the word racism. Because we as black people, we have a tendency to throw these words around a lot, okay? Number one, okay, let's talk about racist and racism. Number one, if you are calling the neighbor next door racist, you're an idiot, okay? Because, see, to be a racist, you have to have some degree of power, okay? You have to be prejudiced or bigoted and have some degree of power over finance, over politics, over a certain segment of the population's lives for a person to be a racist, okay? A person can be prejudiced. A person can be a bigot, but they have to have power to be a racist. I'll give you an example. Now, like I said, I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. Our governor, Pat McCrory, if he is prejudiced, he can be considered a racist. You know why? He has power over the police. He has power over politics. He has power over finances. He has power over where people live. He has power over zoning. He has power over legislation and all that kind of things. He has power over the economy of the state. If he's a bigot, if he's prejudiced, guess what? He's a racist because he has power over a certain segment's population's lives. He has a degree of power. Now, if my next door neighbor, okay, some old toothless redneck, okay, is saying, I hate black people, I hate niggers, guess what? He's just an old redneck bigot because he don't have power over shit, okay? He only got power over that damn property he live on, okay? That's it. He's no racist. He's just a bigot. He has no power. So, as black people, we need to learn to quit throwing that word around so much, because not every single white person can be called a racist. Not every single white prejudiced person could be called a racist, because to be a racist, you have to have some degree of power. And I just wanted to, educate y'all on that, because that's what friends are for. Now, I say this. Us as black people, we always talking about how prejudiced people are. Black people, let me tell you right now, some of the most prejudiced damn people in the world are our black asses, okay? We are some of the most prejudiced people in the damn world. And the crazy thing is, a lot of our prejudice is focused on each other. It's not even focused on white people so much. It's focused on us. We got this thing with skin color, light, dark, good hair, bad hair. We got this going on, y'all. And y'all can sit up there and deny it all you want. Okay, you can deny it all you want, but it's true. I have talked about it on this very show many, many times, and those discussions have gotten very, very heated when people call in, and when they talk about it, they've gotten very, very heated. But I don't care, because guess what? It's true. We as black people are some of the most bigoted, prejudiced damn people there are. And that's just a fact. And you can try to dispute it all you want. You can say, oh, X, you shouldn't say that. X, you're a coon. X, you're a Sambo. X, you're whatever. I don't give a damn. I tell the truth. You don't like it. Too damn bad. If you don't plan on hearing the truth, you're listening to the wrong damn show, because y'all know that's what we do here. That's what we do here, y'all. That's what we always going to do. That's how we do it here. That's just the way it is. Okay? Don't be mad because I say things that you don't like. All right? Don't be mad. Don't be mad. Just take it in stride. okay? Taking it stride, all right? Taking it stride, disagreeing with it, agreeing with it, whatever, okay? But I'm going to tell y'all the truth. And y'all know we launching a new season. I know y'all done saw my new stuff. Y'all done saw the new flyers and new tags. The Popular Thought series is doing it different now, okay? As y'all know, the Popular Thought is running solo now. I got some new things in the works. We coming bigger, bolder. I mean, we just doing it up. I'm hanging in here with Nubia Hood Radio. I gotta say thanks to the station manager, freaking brother Marcus. I mean, he supports me, man. He supports me so much, y'all. And I never really mention him. That's another thing I'm gonna start doing. I mean, not only is he the manager of this station and this broadcast, he's just a real cool brother, man. He's been cool with me ever since the beginning. Me and him clicked the first time we ever met. You know, we just been all right since that first day, and we still all right now. Like I said, the brother supports me. You know, when I get up here and I messed up the damn controls, he got my back, you know, so, because I do a lot of messing up of the controls, okay, and a lot of times, y'all don't know, if it wasn't for Brother Marcus, I mean, shit up here would be all messed up. Yeah, it'd be all messed up, you know, so I got to mention Brother Marcus. I mean, he's the man. It's his station. He started this movement. If it wasn't for him, I would have never. He was the first one to give me a shot on the radio. You know, he trusted me to do what was right. He trusted my message, you know, and, you know, I know a lot of times I get on here and he be listening to me, be like, God, X is crazy. But he still sticks with me. He sticks with me through all of that. You know what I'm saying? He stick with me through all of that. And I love the brother, and, you know, he know I'm always going to be with him. I told him I'm going to stick with him right to the very end, and I mean that shit, you know, because I know he listening, and, you know, I want him to know that. I mean, I'm going to stick with him, okay? I don't care who else ain't with him. Goddamn it, X is with him, because he's always had X's back, all right? I just want to, you know, put y'all up on my boy, Brother Marcus. He's a good dude, man. And if it wasn't for him, none of this would be possible. That's all I'm saying. None of it would be possible. None of it at all. Now, we're still sitting here waiting for Mrs. Elliott to come on. Okay, I'm about to write her right now. See what's going on with her. She knows she's supposed to call in at 8:30. I don't know what's going on with her. I'm about to text her right now. I mean, like, Miss Elliott, what you doing? You coming on? What's going on? What? You know. But in the meantime, let me say a few more things about Charlotte, being that I'm here. I have always said before, because I've been to a few of the rallies, okay, that have gone on. Charlotte, this isn't Charlotte's first rodeo with the cops killing someone down here. I mean, they've killed a couple people since I've been living down here, and I've only been living down here like, I don't know, maybe 2.5 years, almost 3 years. I've been living down here. And since I've been down here, they've shot and killed quite a few people. Y'all might be aware of Jonathan Farrell. Jonathan Farrell was a very national case. Jonathan Farrell was shot in Charlotte. He was a young man, ex-football player. He had crashed his car, and he got out of his car, and he was looking for help. And as he came towards the police, they shot him 10 times and killed him. The officer did get charged, but it ended up in a mistrial. Okay, it ended up in a mistrial, and they decided not to try him again. They let the officer actually resign, and he left with $125,000 severance package. So he got rewarded for killing Mr. Jonathan Farrell. Now, Jonathan Farrell, he was killed, I believe, in 2013. They also killed a female named Janisha Fonville. Janisha Farville, and it's crazy because I'm actually supposed to have her father on the show at some point because him and I actually are in contact with each other. So the reason why I haven't had him on yet is because he's going through some legal stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that he can't say, and he know X going to ask him a whole bunch of questions. So once he gets his, because him and I, we do talk. And he said once he get his legal matters together, because he's suing the state and the county and all that kind of stuff. Once he gets that together, he will be on my show at some time. So look forward to that, y'all. I'm going to have an exclusive interview with Janisha Fonville's father, who was killed by Charlotte-Mecklenburg police. But anyway, Janisha Fonville, she was killed in Charlotte too, like I said. And it's surprising because the cop, his name is Andrew Holshauser, I believe. He was involved with 3 other shootings prior to killing Miss Fonville. He had gotten to a shooting, I believe, in 2012 where he shot 2 people. One person died, and then in 2014 he shot someone else, I believe, and killed them. And then in 2015 he killed Janisha Fonville. And guess what? Guess what he still has, y'all? His job. He still has it. He was never charged for killing Janisha Fonville, and they claim at the time that, he was in fear of his life. Y'all know the spiel. Oh, I was in fear of my life. I was scared to death. Now, mind you, Janisha Fonville was about 5'1", and she weighed about 98 pounds, okay? She's a very little lady, okay? Very thin lady, short lady, and, he was so afraid of this little 5'1", 98-pound girl that he had to shoot her twice in the chest. Okay, he was so afraid because she was just so brutal and menacing looking that he had to shoot her twice in the chest and kill her. And there were 5 other cops there at the time. So this is not Charlotte's first rodeo, y'all, with killing somebody. It's not. All right, it's not their first rodeo. I was at the Jonathan Farrell rally. Okay, that's actually where I met Janisha Fonville's father. I was at the because it was at Christ Ministries church down there. Bishop Dunlap, who was a friend of the show. I'm gonna have Bishop Dunlap. Bishop Dunlap's gonna be back too, y'all, because y'all know the bishop is fiery. Y'all, those of y'all who follow the Prophet of Thought series, y'all remember the show when Bishop Dunlap was up on here. Bishop Dunlap is no joke, and he's not some old super sanctified bishop neither. Okay, Bishop Dunlap tells it like it is. So look forward to Bishop Dunlap gonna be back up here too, y'all. So look forward to that too, because Bishop Dunlap, whenever he comes on the show, it's really popular because he's one of those kind of religious men that kind of tell it like it is, and he don't pull no punches. And guess what? His language ain't always so sanctimonious neither. He kind of he cut right in. He stops right short of using profanity. Trust me, he stops right after he's right on the line of using profanity when he talks. And the bishop is a good guy. The bishop, as a matter of fact, the bishop, he's actually recovering now. I think he's back preaching now. I think he's been back preaching for a while because y'all remember the bishop had got hit. He was helping a motorist on the side of on Brookshire, and somebody hit him, and he had to get his leg decapitated. So he got to get his leg. He had to get it decapitated. Listen to me. He had to get his leg amputated. I mean, because it was a hit and run, and they hit the bishop, and he had to get his leg amputated. And I don't believe they ever caught the guy. So if you know any information, forward it to the police, because the bishop's a good guy. Like I said, he's a friend of the show. And if you know anything or hear anything or seen anything, say something, do something. Don't let him get away with doing that to the bishop, because the bishop's a good dude. He was actually helping somebody that night when he got hit, and he had to get his leg cut off, but he's back preaching. I have spoken with him since the accident. He's the same old bishop, still talking shit, so, he's same old bishop. He ain't changed, y'all. Yeah, he ain't changed a bit. He's the same old bishop, so he will be back up on here. He will be back up on here. He will. And while I'm trying to figure out what's going on, Miss Elliott right now, she better not stand me up. She better not. I will flood her damn email with, like, make it so full that no one else can write ever. You know, I will just flood her email. I will flood it. You know, I will flood it. Let me see what's going on with her. What's going on? Don't do this to me, Miss Elliott. Do not do it. Do not stand up. The Prophet of Thought series. Don't do it. You know, because I know I got people listening out there. I know I do. So, but did y'all miss me? Did y'all miss me? I know John Willie in the house. I know you in the house. I see you on the board. What's going on?
Hey.
You good? You good? How you been?
I have been good. Everything's going well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. You're another person that support me, like, endlessly, even when I have, like, massive technical difficulties. You know, you still got me. So, you know, I appreciate that. I want you to know that I appreciate that. I do. I really, really do. You know? Anybody that know X,
right.
you know I don't say things I don't mean. So when I say that, you know I mean it. You know I mean it. You know? It's all good. It's all good. I appreciate the support. I appreciate everybody's support, and I appreciate y'all supporting the Prophet of Thought series. And you need to support Nubia Hood Radio, because Nubia Hood Radio is black-owned, y'all. Nubia Hood Radio don't answer to the white power structure, so y'all need to support Nubia Hood Radio. Y'all do. Like I said, the brother who runs it, Brother Marcus, is a real good guy, okay? He does what's right. Okay, he does what's just, and he give crazy-ass brothers like me a shot to get on the damn radio, and it might cause him to get thrown off the air with some of the shit I say sometimes. But he's willing to give brothers like me a shot. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's willing to give brothers like me a shot. Okay? Yep, so y'all need to support it. You know, y'all need to support the platform. And by the way, yeah, let me mention this. Speaking of Nubia Hood Radio and Brother Marcus, they're actually looking for someone, y'all, for my Charlotte listeners. They're actually looking for someone to be on the ground in Charlotte, I guess, to, you know, kind of report on the riots. See, if I wasn't doing this, y'all, if I didn't already have a job on here, I would probably be doing that, you know, because those of you who know me know that I do some video work too. Yeah, but Nubia Hood Radio is looking for somebody to get down on the ground, you know, and do some reporting, I guess do some Facebook Live stuff. You know, I guess you have to get in contact, you know, hit the NubiaHoodRadio.com website, or hit the NubiaHoodRadio.com Facebook page so you can get more information about that. Get in contact with Brother Marcus. He'll fill you in on what's what he wants done, and, you know, what he's looking for and all that kind of stuff. So anybody in the Charlotte area that's interested in, you know, doing a little bit of groundwork. Now, I say again, don't go down there and get shot. But, you know, if you want to go down there and, you know, do some recording, do some broadcasting, do some reporting for the radio station, Brother Marcus is looking for someone to do that if you are willing to do it. So, like I said, get in contact with the station, or if you don't have the station information, you can get in contact with me. I'll get you in contact with Brother Marcus, and, you know, you be ready to rock and roll, you know. Especially if you got, like, video equipment and stuff like that. You better have it, because you ain't using my shit. So you better have your own stuff, because I'll let my shit out. Hell no. So you better have your own shit so you can go down there, because, see, Brother Marcus, see, me and him, we remote. We like a couple 100 miles away from each other, so we do this radio station thing, you know, kind of remote, you know. So more than likely, I'll probably be your contact person, because I'm right here. And I tell you right now, you're not using my shit. You're not, okay? You're just not. So have your own shit. Okay, I'll give you some advice. I'll even give you a camera tutorial if you want. But the tutorial will be on your own stuff. It won't be on my stuff. Okay, I'm just putting that out there. You know, don't be calling me, writing me, oh, X, man, I want to go down there and do it, man. You got some video shit? Yep, whole bunch of it. Your ass ain't using it, though. Straight jacket. So have your equipment up when you contact the station, because more than likely Brother Mark is going to put you in contact with me because he know my black ass is here. So have your stuff up, and guess what? I ain't going to be down here with your ass neither. You know, maybe if I got some free time because the brother do work, okay? Everybody who knows me know I have my own, power mechanic shop that I run, and it's really, really busy from March right on up to like November. So it's only September. So guess what, y'all? I'm really busy. All right? I'm really busy. So I don't really have time. You know, once it get a little cold, it slows down a little bit. You know, X have some time to mess with you, but as it stands now, I can. And that's part of the reason why I've been kind of slacking on my platforms, y'all, because, you know, my shop gets really busy. Like I said, between, like, say, March, April, all the way up to, like, November, man, I'd be stumped, y'all. I mean, it's really, really stumped with work. So it's hard to get up here and do videos and all that kind of stuff. You know, I mean, I was scrambling to do the radio show tonight. Shoot, I didn't even leave my shop till like 7:15. Okay, and I know I'm supposed to be on the air at 8 o'clock. I was just walking out the shop 7:15. So, you know, I had to hurry up, pack everything up, get my ass to where my equipment is, and, you know, it's just crazy sometimes, y'all. So, you know, I'm just saying, you know, not that y'all care about my life, but, you know, that's what it is. So don't be mad at me because I ain't putting videos up every week. Just think, damn, X ain't put a video up this week. He must be working really hard this week. See, y'all need to think that. See, I'm going to teach y'all about thinking. Okay, I'm going to teach y'all about thinking. Because, see, we have a tendency to think wrong, okay? We always think the worst. We always think the extreme. And a lot of time, y'all, it's not like that. It's not. I want to be up here. I would probably broadcast every night if I could, if I had the time, you know, and because I have the material, y'all. I'm telling you, I have the material. I could broadcast every damn night. Okay, I could broadcast every night. I've done enough shows where I could run reruns for the next 5 months if I wanted to, because that's how much work me and Brother Marcus have put in since our coming together. I mean, I got enough reruns. I could fill y'all up with reruns for the next 5-6 months, you know, but it's just that time doesn't allow for it. Okay, it just doesn't allow for it all the time, y'all. And anybody who does this stuff, anybody who has like a YouTube channel, or, you know, they on Blog Talk, or they make videos, whatever case may be, they know exactly what I'm talking about. They know this stuff is very time consuming. It takes a lot of preparation. It takes a lot of research. It takes a lot of work. And see, I'm by myself, y'all. I don't have a big team. I don't have 4 or 5 people. And it's crazy because I used to have a really big team. Okay, I don't. Only person who I got now who really does stuff for me is Brother Marcus. He's the only one I can count on. I mean, because I went through a few co-hosts. I went through a few so-called interns. I went through a few so-called, you know, whatevers. You know, people who claim they want to be down and then they don't show up. And the ones I did have, when they show up late and all this kind of nonsense. So I don't need it. I might as well just rock out by myself. I do all the research. I get all the guests. I do all the videos. I do all the cinematography. I do all the videography. I do all the audio. I do all that. So what the hell do I need other people for? Just to show up and run their damn mouths? Guess what? I don't need them to do that. They can't even come and do that on time. Yeah, they can't even do that on time. So I just rock out by myself, okay, until I can find the talent, until I can find people who can fit the bill. Okay, that I want them to fit, and people who can kind of take the damn load off of me so I don't have to do everything. I will be doing everything by myself until then. Yeah, it sounds selfish. Yeah, it sounds cruel. Yeah, it sounds mean. So damn what? This is my platform. This is my show. I built this Popular Thought thing by myself, okay, from the ground. okay? The only one who has ever really fully supported me from the beginning is my lady, because it's crazy. She bought me my first camera, okay? She bought me my first little camera, okay, back in the day, all right? She's the only one that has, you know, she sticks by me no matter what. I mean, everybody else, I mean, they come and they go. They want to be part of it, but they don't want to do shit to help it grow. They don't want to do shit to build it. So guess what? A rocker. I'm willing to do that, so I'll just rock out by myself. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's just it. You know? That's just it. And I'm on here talking y'all to death, and damn, Jane Elliott has not called in yet. She's late. See, you know what? This is what pisses me off about women. Every single woman guest that I have ever had on my show has called in damn late, except Shahrazad Ali. Shahrazad Ali is on time every damn time, okay? She's the only one. Whenever I get a female guest, they 15 minutes late, they're 20 minutes late, they call in an hour late, they won't call in at all. You know, that's what I get from them. You know, and I'm not making this up. All y'all got to do is look at my archives and listen to some of my old shows. Y'all be like, damn, that's right. Yeah, they always do this, man. They do this to me all the time, okay? It make me look bad. It's bullshit, man. It's bullshit. So, okay, let me see. I'm gonna pull her number up because I'm about to call her ass. Yeah, she about to get a phone call from X like pronto. Yeah, she about to get a phone call. Yeah, she is about to get a phone call because I do have her damn number. And we are going to call Miss Elliott right goddamn now. And I'm going to let y'all listen into the damn phone call, too. Let me see. Let me pull her number up right quick. Because, see, you don't be doing this to me. This here ain't going to work. Yeah, this ain't going to work here. Let me see. Let me see here. Yeah. We got to call Miss Elliott. Come on, Miss Elliott, pick up. Come on. She might have got the times mixed up.
Hello, you've reached Jane and Daryl Elliott. Please leave a detailed message, the time and date at which you called. We will get back to you as soon as we get in. Thank you. At the tone, please record your message.
Are y'all hearing this?
Finished recording. You
Are y'all hearing this?
Press 1 for more options. To leave a callback number, press 5.
Yes, Miss Elliott. This is Xavier from the Prophet of Thought series. We were supposed to have an interview tonight at 8:30 p.m. EST. I know that would be 7:30 p.m. CST for you. When you get this message, could you please call me back because I'm live on the radio right now, and I am waiting for you to call in, madam. If you want, you can call me back here on my cell phone. The phone number is. Please give me a call. We are waiting on you on the air live. Thank you. Hello?
Hello, this is Jane Elliott. Were you trying to call me?
Yes, Miss Elliott. We had an interview tonight, you and I.
Then go ahead, let's do it. This is the time we were supposed to do it, right?
Yes. Could you call into the radio station?
Oh, just a minute. No, I have to get up and go get a pencil. And you know what that bothers me? No, you don't, do you?
I was talking smack about you, Miss Elliott.
What's your number?
It's 712 775 775 70. Yes, 7031.
Oh,
031.
712 775-7031.
But wait, you have to press an access code.
Access code is
840 981.
841
981.
840-981.
Yes.
840-981.
Yes.
Got that?
Yep.
Okay, 712-775-7031, and then it will say what is your access code, and I'll hit 840981.
Absolutely.
3214, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'll talk to you in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Okay, y'all. It appears that it's going down. It appears to be going down, y'all. So hopefully it is. God damn it. I don't know if y'all heard that, but I don't know if y'all heard our interaction, but she had forgot and she didn't have the number and also kind of foolishness. So, you know. We're gonna see what happens. You know, acting like she done forgot what happened around here. You know, see, sometimes you gotta call your damn guest and be like, "Hey, man, you were supposed to be on my show tonight." Miss Elliott, is that you?
This is Jane Elliott.
Yes, Miss Elliott, you're late, by the way.
I'm sorry.
Well, anyway, I've been running my mouth. I've been talking about you. Okay, of course.
Well, I hope you told the truth. This won't take long then.
Oh, absolutely, I told the truth. We were just talking about, well, actually we were talking about you, and we were talking about what's going on in Charlotte, North Carolina right now, because that's where we broadcast from.
Oh, God.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, now that I got you, what's your take on what's going on in Charlotte, if you're aware of it at all? What's your take on it?
What's my take on it? My take on it is that situation normal, all followed up.
Okay.
My take on it is, in this country, we are so ignorant still in 2016 to believe that skin color is an indication of intelligence or worth as a human being and an indication of whether or not you are an honest human being. And we are teaching that in the schools in this country. Everybody who hasn't read the book, The Racial Conditioning of Our Children, by Nathan Rutstein, and the subtitle to that book is Ending Psychological Genocide in Our Schools. We teach people, and we've taught teachers, and we teach teachers in teachers' colleges to teach the superiority of the white race and that there are 4 races. There's only one race. We're all members of the same race, and only when people of the white color group start seeing all the members of all those other color groups as fully, equally human are we going to change this situation. But we aren't going to do that until we get our hands on people like Chuck Grassley and the Southern senators and members of the House and the people who are running the schools in this country and the people who are running the churches. You need to remember, don't get me started. This whole thing is it's nothing but pure, unadulterated racism.
No. I want you to get started.
But
Wow.
You've got to understand, you do understand. But white folks have to understand, have to remember what Frederick Douglass said. Now, I've gotten email after email after email from people who are so angry about these young women and the Black Lives Matter thing. They have never read Frederick Douglass's 2 of his quotations, which are extremely, extremely interesting and extremely important. He said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom and yet deprecate agitation are men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want rain without thunder and lightning. They want the ocean without the awful roar of its many waters. Where justice is denied, where poverty is enforced, where ignorance prevails, and where any one class is made to feel that society is an organized conspiracy to oppress, rob, and degrade them, neither persons nor property will be safe. He was absolutely right, and he predicted this many, many, many years ago. as a black man. He knew what was happening. He knew how it was going to. He knew what was going to happen as a result of it. He knew what that was going to cause in this country, and it has put us in such shape that now we are given the opportunity to vote for a blatant racist, sexist, homophobic crook for the presidency. And nobody is doing anything about it. The Republicans had 14 other capable men who could have taken that job. But they let this fool slide in there. And this is the worst election I've ever seen. And the number of hate crimes are going to increase drastically. They have already increased since he started to run for the presidency, and they are going to increase drastically every day from now on because he encourages that kind of behavior. He is a hate monger, and people don't seem to understand that. Black people who vote for Donald Trump are voting for their own elimination. And brown people who vote for Donald Trump are voting to be sent out of this country in droves. This man is determined to keep America a white man's land. And you need to understand that this is about racism. This election is about racism. It is the reaction of white males to having had a black man in the White House. And I remember when Richard Nixon said to a bunch of white people, "I'm trying to save the White House for you white people." Wow. Now, if I sound angry, it's not because I'm old. Somebody in one of these emails that I get said, "Well, she's old and tired." I'm not tired, and I may be old, but I'm not stupid. And I haven't forgotten the things that have happened in this country in the last 83 years. What's happening right now is very much like what happened in Nazi Germany before the Holocaust began. And people aren't even aware of that because most of these young sprouts do not know anything about the Holocaust. They may have read a paragraph about it in their social studies book, but they don't remember American soldiers coming home and talking about how those skeletons looked as they released them from the concentration camps. They don't see people walking down the street with those numbers tattooed to their arms. Tattooing is wonderful. It isn't wonderful if you have to use it to cover up the numbers that were put on your arms during the Holocaust. People aren't thinking because all they're doing is looking at that television set and those little handheld things. I'm sorry. So did you want to ask me a question?
Well, I'm just sitting here listening to you, madam, because I've been watching your stuff like all week. I've been watching your blue eyes, brown eyes exercises. I watched you when you were in the UK, and, I've just been watching your stuff, and I'm actually fascinated with your research, with your work. I mean, I've never seen anything like it in my life, and I told...
Why haven't you? Why haven't you seen anything like it? Why haven't we all been subjected to studying Frederick Douglass and the things that he said and the reasons he said them? Why haven't you heard about Nathan Rutstein and the psychological genocide in our schools? Why haven't you heard that? I'll tell you one reason you haven't. I've been telling people to read the book The Myth of Race by Robert Wald Sussman for the last couple of months, and all of a sudden the price of that book has skyrocketed.
Wow.
And I've been telling them to read The Birth Dearth by Ben Wattenberg, which talks about the fact that we have to keep this country, increase the white birth rate in this country so that this will continue to be a white man's land. And the last person who tried to buy it said it would cost her $800. The next one said it was $200. Why are they trying to keep that out of our hands?
Wow.
Yeah, it is a book that tells you exactly what the government has in store for us. And the first thing he says, there are three solutions to the problem of too few white babies being born in this country. He says, number one, we could pay women to have babies, as they have been doing in Western European nations for years. But, and these are his words, not mine, unfortunately, we would have to pay women of all colors to have babies, so we don't want to do that. Then he says the second thing we could do is increase the number of legal immigrants allowed into this country every year. Then he says, unfortunately, that the majority of those wanting to come to this country today are people of color, so we don't want to do that. He says the third thing we need to do is remember that 60% of the fetuses that are aborted every year are white. If we could keep that 60% alive, that would solve our birth dearth. Now, he doesn't say what he wants to do with the other 40% of those fetuses that aren't white. But he wants to keep that 60% of those fetuses alive. They're white. Now, you want to think about the right to life movement. It isn't about the right to life movement. It's about the right to white life movement.
Mm.
These are scary, scary times, and I don't think most people are aware of what people like Dinosaurus T. Rump have in their minds. But I don't think Trump has this stuff in his mind. All he's after is NBC giving him another television show. And if he gets enough people to follow him now, then he is guaranteed another television show. After this is all over.
Absolutely.
He doesn't want to be president. He knows he isn't qualified. He couldn't run the local dog show. But
exactly.
Well, anyway, what can I do for you?
Let me ask you something. I remember watching you from a long time ago. Some old footage of you when you were a young teacher, and you said when Martin Luther King was shot, you said that you believe hope died. Do you still believe that today?
I think Martin Luther King Jr. was about hope, and for me, hope is an acronym for holding on to positive energy.
Okay.
I think for other color groups other than white, you're in big trouble because the reaction of white men to having a black man in the White House was immediate, and it's going to be long-lasting. So it's going to be extremely difficult to get back to where we were in the 70s and the 80s. These folks don't want that to happen. I think you also have to remember that some of the society's planners are fully aware that within about 30 years, white people will have become a numerical minority in the United States of America. And they are willing to do anything they have to do to prevent that happening.
Wow.
And if that means putting young black males and brown males in jail or in prison so that they can't be sexually active, then we'll do that. If that means sending them into a war to fight and kill people of other colors in other nations, then we'll do that. If that means seeing to it that jobs go overseas so that young white women can't get jobs, really good jobs, so that they'll be willing to stay home and raise babies and stay broke, barefoot, and pregnant, then we'll do that. You see, I know what you're thinking. Man, this woman is a conspiracy theorist. She's got rocks in her head. No, I haven't. I see what's going on. I wish everybody could see what's going on. And if I'm looking at it from the wrong way, if this isn't all true, all they have to do is stop this nonsense. The crime bill that Bill Clinton signed that put young men in jail, when they let those young men out, they are going to be disenfranchised for the rest of their lives. They'll never be allowed to vote again. Do you think that's an accident? Because if you do, I think you need to take another look at what we're doing here. I think the fears of white people at the thought of losing their numerical majority in this country will drive them to do disgusting, unprecedentedly cruel, and illegal, certainly unconstitutional things. And that's what's going on. I honestly believe that.
Wow. So, do you? I want to piggyback on something you said. Do you believe that the fact that we had a black man in the White House for 8 years, do you think that we will continue to feel the effects of that? You know, past whoever becomes president, I think Hillary Clinton is going to win. But even beyond that, even beyond, say Hillary Clinton, say she's in there for 2 terms, will we still be feeling the aftershocks of Barack Obama, say with 3 cycles down, 12 years from now? Will we still be feeling that aftershock of a black man being in the White House 12 years from now?
We will, until a lot of old people die, quite frankly. Old white folks, I know what you're thinking. Oh, my goodness, she would kill people. No, I wouldn't. But a lot of older white people are stuck in the things they learned when they were in school in the 50s and 40s and 30s. I know because I was there. I know where they're stuck. If we could get the proper education in the schools, we could turn this thing around. We don't have to have this kind of nonsense happening. And if we would teach that there's only one race, the human race, and stop this separation on the basis of skin color, I don't know what color your skin is, but no matter what color it is, you're my cousin. You are a member of the same race that I'm a member of. And I resent it. And I won't tolerate it.
My skin is black, by the way. I just want to let you know my skin is black.
Okay, you're still my cousin. You're still my cousin because we're all members of the same race. We are members of the same race, and that makes you my relative, and I will not tolerate having my relatives mistreated because of somebody else's ignorance about skin color, where it came from, and what it means. I will not tolerate it. And if we would do a better job of educating teachers, they would do a better job of educating students. But we don't offer education in the schools in this country. We offer indoctrination. I can remember when I was, and this is hard to remember, but it sticks in my mind. I can remember when I was taking social studies education courses in college. And an education course professor said to us, when you go into the classroom, do not teach in opposition to the local mores. The people who are paying your wages through their taxes have the right to have their children learn what they want them to learn. In other words, if you're teaching as a beginning teacher or anything else in a racist community, don't teach in opposition to racism. I thought he was wrong then, and I know without a doubt that he is wrong now. You will not change the level of racism in this country until you change the kind of education that is offered in the schools in this country. And what we are offering is racism.
Wow. So, do you believe that we've come, a long way? You hear people say this, that we've come a long way. Do you believe that?
Sure, we've come a long way. We certainly have come a long way. We just haven't come far enough. And even though we have come this far, you need to realize over the past year, we've taken great steps backwards. Ever since the white Southern boys in the House of Representatives and the Senate, ever since the Tea Party people were elected, we started taking really giant strides backwards. There's still redlining going on with banks. There are still lots of places where no black family can rent or buy a house. There are still jobs that women and people of other color groups other than white can't get. We're still doing the same thing. It's not as bad. Hey, there's somebody running around the country talking about white privilege and saying, we won the Civil War. The Civil War is over. Well, evidently he hasn't gone into the South and talked like a Yankee. If he had, he'd realize it ain't over yet. And he says we don't have slavery or segregation in this country anymore. Evidently he has never gone into a prison and seen the number of black males that are there and the fact that they are forced to work 8 hours a day for 20 cents an hour. And they are caged at the end of the day, and they're caged while they're working. If you put a man or anybody in a situation where you give him enough to eat and clothing to wear and a roof over his head and make him work 8 hours a day, you have reinstituted slavery. And we have done that in this country. Now, you can argue about that until hell freezes over, but you have to prove to me that I'm wrong on that one. And before you do that, read Michelle Alexander's book, The New Jim Crow, because that's what we're living with. And if this fool thinks that segregation is over, he is obviously not aware that there are more children attending segregated schools in the United States of America today than there were previous to Brown versus Board of Education. Wow. Segregation is not over. It is increasing instead of decreasing because white folks are scared.
Wow.
Now, there's a statement in one of these books that I just read. I think it's in the racial conditioning of our children. I'm not sure. But it says, when a black woman from Africa or wherever, mates with a white male in this country, their children are beautiful and they survive. That means we're the same species. Because if you're a different species, you can't reproduce. Get over it, people. We're the same species. We are members of the same race.
Okay, well, let's do this. I wanna ask about you a little bit now. What I want to know is this: what made a young third grade teacher, because you're so passionate, you've been so passionate for over 40 years, what made a little white third grade teacher want to become what you have become? What made that happen for you? What was it?
My father used to say, never judge a book by its cover.
Okay.
You don't know what it's about until you've read it. What's the matter with you?
Okay.
He also used to say, and I didn't understand it for years, a fair thing is a pretty thing, and a right wrongs no man. Now, he was right about that. If it's right, it may inconvenience you, it may impoverish you, but if it's right, it won't wrong you.
Wow.
And he said, never put a stone in another man's path. And he lived that way. And he also said, nobody but a fool stumbles on something behind him. If you've already passed it, you ought to know it's there, so you shouldn't stumble on it if it's behind you. He was an extremely moral man. And I believed all the things that he said. But he also said that white people, you've got to stay with your own. And I thought, Dad, damn it all, make up your mind. And then I got out of high school, and I went to college, and then I moved to Waterloo, Iowa. No, I went to college in Cedar Falls, Iowa, which is near Waterloo. And I saw black students there who were smarter than I was, who had more money than I did, who had better manners than I had, who had knowledge of the world. And I thought, boy, somebody lied big time to me. And I started to change my perception at that time. I was lied to consistently and constantly. And then I married this lovely, lovely brown-eyed man. I was married to him for 59 years, but I married him. And we moved to Waterloo, Iowa. He was working for a chain grocery store. And we were getting transferred, and we had purchased a house in Waterloo, so I put the house in the paper for rent. And somebody called and said, do you rent to colored? And I can remember as clearly as if it happened yesterday, thinking, if I rent this to coloreds, and we have to come back here, and we will get transferred back here, what's going to happen? And I thought, and then I said, this is an all-white neighborhood. And she immediately got the message. And she said, all right, thank you very much. I will never forget that as long as I live, and I swore at that point that I will never allow this society to force me to do that again. All I had to do was say to that woman, if you've got the money, you've got the house. And that's what I should have done.
Wow.
But I defected to the enemy, and I'll never do it again. I'll never do that again. And so, hey, I have lots of enemies. And that's
sure.
kind of judged by the quality of his enemies. I've got lots of them. And that's okay. A fair thing is a pretty thing, and a right wrongs no man.
Exactly.
And what we're doing right now to people of color, to other color groups, and white's just another color group, but other color groups other than white are being treated in ways that you do not have the right to treat other human beings, and I won't tolerate it.
Wow. Well, I believe that. I mean, I haven't been around as long as you. I'm in my 40s.
But most people haven't. I was a waitress at the Last Supper. You can be forgiven.
That's a good one. I like your sense of humor too. I've seen some really stuff. I grew up in Suffolk County as a young man, Eastern Suffolk County, which was extremely prejudiced and extremely bigoted. And I seen things like crosses being burned on people's lawns and all that kind of stuff as I was coming up. And I always thought that, as I got older, that it would get better. And now that I'm in my 40s, I mean, I don't see the things that I saw then, but I see things similar to it.
Of course.
The prejudice and the racism is a little more. It's a little more covered up now because, you know, there's not a lot of profit. There's not a lot of profit in being racist. I don't think people mind being racist, but I don't think they want other people to know, especially if it's going to hurt their pocket. So you kind of see it. It's more hidden. It's more subliminal. I mean, you have the overt, you know, blatant stuff, but, you know, it's a little more covert. It's a little more, you know, undercover, subliminal.
Do you
Yes.
recognize it when you see it? Absolutely.
Yes.
Has any white person ever said to you, when I see you, I don't see you black?
Yes. Yes.
And did you take that as a compliment?
No.
Or did you know that person was a liar? Because if they didn't see you black, they wouldn't say black. They'd see, when I see you, I don't see you green or yellow or orange.
Yes.
No.
Exactly.
And has anybody ever said to you, I'm not prejudiced, some of my best friends are black?
Yes, I've heard that too.
Yes, and just a couple of weeks ago, Donald Trump, standing there at some kind of a rally, pointed to the one black man on the stage and said, I've got my African American. There he is, right over there. Like I've got mine.
Yep, I got my black friend.
He might as well have been holding him up with a noose around his neck to show everybody. I've got mine. See, right there he is. There's mine right over there.
Wow.
Now, see, the way the way ignorant white people regard black people in this country is absolutely ignorant. And it isn't just, it is, oh dear. I think people now are more clever at hiding their racism, but they'll still see things like this woman said to me one day, white woman, I don't dislike black people. When I see one, I just say, there but for the grace of God go I. Now think of the implications of that. God loved her, so God made her white. Wow. She actually thinks that God gave her her color. Her color is an accident of birth. God did not choose to make her white.
Wow.
You see, that's that kind of thing that, oh my goodness. You have to, you know, my son-in-law says, you got to know your audience. When people are around me, they got to know their audience, because when those things slip out, I no longer am kind or patient enough to just let it slide or to say gently, you know, that's not a very nice thing to say, because then they'll accuse me of being politically correct. I don't believe in political correctness, and those who do should read Nat Hentoff's book, Free Speech for Me, Not for Thee. Everybody should read that book, because political correctness is an attempt to limit our freedom of speech. I'm willing to have somebody say something ugly in front of me, where I am, and then they will live with the consequences of their behavior, and I will exercise my freedom of speech to let them know they're wrong. Just as that young quarterback knelt and refused to stand for the national anthem.
Oh, you're talking about Kaepernick.
Yeah, he was exercising what the last line of the national anthem says. O say does that Star Spangled Banner yet wave, or the land of the free and the home of the brave. He was brave enough to exercise his freedom not to stand. Isn't that wonderful?
Absolutely.
See, I think that's wonderful. I think we should have more people who are brave enough to exercise their freedom. And if it's freedom of speech, go for it. And that's what these young people are doing. They're exercising their freedom of having the ability and the freedom to go out and profess their right, and their right to be able to talk.
Oh. Well, you're listening to the Prophet of Thought series here on Nubia Hood Radio. We are live with Mrs. Jane Elliott. You can call in, ask some questions. The phone number is 712-775-7031. That's 712-775-7031. Access code 840981 if you wish to opine. Mrs. Elliott is just on here being Mrs. Elliott. If you're listening, you know that. So call in, ask some questions. She's here, and we got her exclusively on the Prophet of Thought series, y'all. So, call in, light the phone board up, and I'll put you through. Make sure you ask some intelligent questions. Don't call in here asking ridiculous questions, because I will mute you if you do. So, Miss Elliott, The blue eyes, brown eyes exercise, I noticed that they are different depending on what part of the world you are in. Won't you explain to our audience a little bit about that?
Well, they are different, but the results are the same. I do what Hitler did. I separate people according to the color of their eyes. And since most of the people who are minority group members worldwide are brown-eyed and know how it feels to be on the receiving end of racism, I put brown-eyed people on the top in those exercises for the first day. I don't reverse it with adults, but I reverse it with children. With children, I do the exercise for a whole day with brown-eyed people on the top, and the second day, blue-eyed people are on the top. We reverse the exercise. Now, we aren't going to reverse the exercise in this country, except it may happen without having any way to stop it, which just tickles me to death. But I don't tell my brown-eyed students how to treat my blue-eyed students or brown-eyed participants how to treat blue-eyed participants because they know. The minute I tell them that brown-eyed people are smarter and cleaner and more civilized than blue-eyed people, they immediately catch on to what we're talking about here is racism. And every person, no matter where I do the exercise, knows exactly. Every brown-eyed person and every blue-eyed person knows exactly how to behave like a racist. They know the words to say. They know the body language to use. They know the hand signals. They know where their eyes are supposed to go. They know how to look at you, where to look at you. They know exactly how to be racist. And the first time I did that exercise with my third graders in all Christian, all white Riceville, Iowa, I would have sworn that my kids, my third graders, would not behave as they did toward their peers and their teacher because they had been with me at that point for 8 months. They knew exactly how to hurt. They knew exactly how to poke. They knew exactly the words to use because we teach racism, not only in the schools but in the homes and in the churches and in the movies and certainly on television. It was just frightening the first time I did that exercise. We did it on Friday that first time, sent those kids home without totally debriefing them. Brought them back in on Monday morning. We reversed the exercise. The same kinds of things happened on Monday as it happened on Friday, but with one big difference. The blue-eyed people were a lot less vicious to the brown-eyed people than the brown-eyed people had been to them. And after it was all over and we were doing the debriefing, I said, look, you kids said you were going to get even with these brown-eyed kids yesterday. You didn't do it. Why didn't you? And that year and every year after that, those kids said, because I found out how it felt to be treated that way, and I didn't want to make anybody else feel the way I felt. They learned, and they have remembered more of that day than they learned any other year in school because they say so to this day.
Wow. So do you do follow-ups? Because I know you've done this exercise many, many, many times with many, many different groups. Do you ever do, like, follow-ups on the people that you do, to see if they have a different, if they have a change of heart, change of mind, change of behavior?
I did it with my students. I didn't do it, in an organized way. But I talked to some of those kids often still. Two of them who were in the film The Eye of the Storm, which is made in my classroom in the third year. I did the exercise. Was it the third year? Yeah, I think it was. There was no one in my room except the kids and me the first year. The second year, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation filmed it. The third year, it was filmed by ABC, and they made this film called The Eye of the Storm. It's a half-hour film that you can now see on the net, which is really upsetting, but okay. Anyway, last spring, the BBC called two of the kids who were in that film, The Eye of the Storm, and asked them to come out to Los Angeles so that they could be in a film about the science of the brain. Now, the year I had the Eye of the Storm, the year that film was done, I had 16 kids in my classroom, and they were all moderately to severely dyslexic. The principal told me none of these kids are going to graduate from high school, pass them on, get them out of here. They'll never amount to anything anyway. I was furious. I looked at their math scores and their reading scores in their standardized testing, and the math scores are much higher than their reading scores, and I figured I had a whole class of dyslexics, and I had 16 kids who came in unable to read above the first, maybe the very lowest second grade level, who were supposed to graduate from high school. They all graduated from high school except one who was killed in an alcohol-related accident 2 weeks before graduation. I can't stand to think about it. Of the others 15, at least 6 have gone on to 2 or 4 or more years of post-high school education. One is now a lawyer and has been for years, and one was a junior and senior high school principal for years. They were both making more money than any of their teachers who called them dumb ever did. They went on this show, and they talked to them, the narrator talked to them and asked them the questions he needed to ask, and he finally said, it's obvious that we can change brains. You two men, your brains were changed by the blue-eyed, brown-eyed exercise. Now, you read the racial conditioning of our children, and you realize that we change the brains of black and brown children in our schools all day, every day, by treating them as they are what they are and not expecting them to be more, and being upset by those who are more than we expect them to be. The biggest mistake a child of color can make is to live beyond his teacher's expectations of him. They don't mind if they live down or below their expectations, but if you live beyond the white teacher's expectations of you, you're in big trouble. You're not staying in your place. Now, I know there are teachers in this country who appreciate every single one of their kids and who try really, really hard to teach every student in a fair way. I also know that this country discourages that kind of behavior in its teachers. Educators are a whole different thing. I'm an educator. The word educator comes from the root duc dus, which means lead, the prefix e, which means out, the suffix ate, which means the act of, and the suffix or, which means one who does. An educator is one who leads students out of ignorance. A teacher is one who gives them facts and figures and makes it easier for them to pass the standardized tests. A teacher is one who teaches that Christopher Columbus discovered America. And in the first and second grade, has them draw the pictures of the three ships that needed up into the Santa Maria pulling up to the shore, and Native Americans standing on the shore waving at them. Now, you can't discover a place where people are already living. They discovered it before you got there. In Oregon, yeah, the whole thing is so ridiculous. Think of what we've been doing all these years. In Oregon, they are no longer celebrating Columbus Day. They are selling First Nations Day, Native American Day. Do you think that's smart? I think that's brilliant. I think that's absolutely brilliant. They were here first. And there were black people here before Columbus got here. And if you haven't read the book, They Came Before Columbus, by Ivan Van Sertima, you ought to get it and read it. That's another one of those books that you'll only find in the reference part of the library. But it's a book that every kid, every person in the high school and college should get their hands on and should read it, because it talks about the fact that blacks were here before Columbus got here.
Wow. Do you think that in this country, I know I've heard you say this before, that all white people are some degree prejudiced or bigoted.
Well, if they aren't, they weren't listening in school for 13 years or for 17 years if they went to college.
Wow. So
you got a PhD and you aren't a racist, you weren't listening. Or you weren't thinking about what you were hearing. You were regurgitating that crap on the test. In order to pass the test, you had to regurgitate the stuff that the teacher taught you. And we didn't. People would rather not yet. Wait, nobody's born a racist. In the play, in the musical, South Pacific, the last song of that musical should be hanging in the words of it, the lyrics should be hanging in everybody's kitchen. It says, you have to be taught to be afraid of people, it's something like this, of people whose eyes are differently made, of people whose skins of a different shade, you have to be carefully taught. You have to be taught before it's too late, before you're 6 or 7 or 8, to hate all the people your relatives hate. You have to be carefully taught. You have to be carefully taught. And I think that's true. And I think people who don't want to be racist have been conditioned to the myth of white superiority and to the inferiority of those who are other than white, except in the case of students from Asia. And I was on a bus going to the airport in New York City one day, and there was a Japanese girl sitting there, and we were talking about the ugly stereotypes that we have where blacks are concerned in this country. She said, it's bad, these stereotypes, these ugly, negative stereotypes are bad. But she said, sometimes positive stereotypes are bad. I said, and tell me how. She said, well, I'm Japanese, and I'm supposed to be brilliant in math. I can't add 6 and 7 without using my fingers. I said, well, if you're going to add 6 and 7, you also have to use your toes, don't you? She said, yeah, and I figured that out too. So the whole thing is just so utterly, totally, entirely ridiculous that, and we don't ever give a thought to it. We don't even think about stereotyping. We just automatically do it, and we believe it.
Wow. Well, do you think it's possible for white teachers who have good intentions, but they have to follow a curriculum? You think that they possibly are teaching these things in the school and unaware of the racist connotations that are inside the school's curriculum?
I think they're doing what they get paid to do, follow the standard elementary certificate curriculum. And if you don't want to get in trouble, that's what you do. And if my great-great-grandfather hadn't been one of the first settlers in Riceville, Iowa, and if my 2 aunts hadn't been teachers in the Riceville school, and if my 2 sisters hadn't taught in the Riceville school before I went to teach there, I probably couldn't have gotten away with what I did. But they trusted me because they had trusted, 4 generations. They trusted me. And then I did the blue-eyed, brown-eyed exercise. And then somebody interviewed the superintendent later, and he said, why didn't you fire her? Didn't you threaten to fire her? He said, yeah, I could have fired her. But in my heart of hearts, I knew that what she was doing was right. How could I fire her for doing the right thing?
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I could teach this chair in front of me to read if it had a mouth, because I know how to teach children who are dyslexic. I know how to teach children who have difficulty with printed language symbols, and I can teach every child to read. If they have anywhere near average IQ, I can teach them to read. So they would have let me do anything I wanted to in that system once they figured out that I was able to do that. And in my room that year, there were 16 kids that no other teacher, kindergarten, 1st or 2nd grade, had been able to teach them to read, and I taught them to read that year. They wouldn't have fired me no matter what I did.
So are you still doing those? Are you still actively doing those exercises, the blue-eye, brown-eye exercises? Are you still actively doing that?
I can, but I don't want to, and I'll tell you why. You're bound to have some blue-eyed white males in those exercises, and they're bound to be on the bottom. And they don't forget, and they get even. And if you do it in a group that are going to have to work together the next week, you're going to ruin their work environment because they're going to get even. I'll bet I'll get all kinds of calls saying, well, I'm a white male, and I wouldn't. Well, yeah, that's what you say now. But peer pressure is a really powerful thing in this country and in every country. So I can get more to, number one, those exercises are limited to 40 participants. And I charge a lot of money for it because it's hard work. You can put 1,500 people in an audience and get a lot done with them without putting them through the blue-eyed, brown-eyed exercise. Because by the time I get to the point where I show the film The Eye of the Storm, the white folks in the room know exactly what I'm talking about and know a whole lot about how it feels to be on the other end, on the receiving end of that nonsense for a while. And all they want to do is get me to shut up so they can get out of there.
Well,
but they learn a lot. And then I show them the film, and then it's like that's a healing situation. Then they can look at one another and appreciate one another and realize that we're all members of the same race, and let's get over this before we destroy the human race and, in the process, the United States of America.
Exactly. Do you get a lot of resentment from who do you get the most resentment from? Do you get the most resentment from the people who you actually expose that they have kind of racist tendencies, or do you get more resentment from the people who just flat out deny that they have racist tendencies?
Well, more from those who are quite certain they're okay. I mean, it worked for my father and my grandfather. Why doesn't it work for me? And then I say, it didn't work for your father and your grandfather, because if it did, you wouldn't need to hear me today. And it isn't working for you. Get this into your head. Seeing people as less than because of your ignorance about their skin color isn't working for you. It never has. You just thought it was. You didn't realize how people of color looked at you or how they felt about you or what they thought about you when you were running your mouth in this, what I'm doing to you, I'm doing because I love you. Have you had that one?
Yes. I've heard that. I've heard it.
Well, don't you really love their love? My dad used to say, I'm giving you a beating because I love you. And I used to think, could you love me a little less?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I think Bell Hooks said it best when she said, you can't have a loving society unless you have a just society. If you treat people in an unjust manner and say you love them, they know that isn't love, and they'll treat you unjustly because that's what you've done to them. And I have another little problem. I'm sorry, but you shouldn't have called me. You called me. I didn't call you. Okay. We in this country talk about the golden rule. I practice the golden rule, and what's the golden rule? And I know what the golden rule is, but I wanted to say it. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And I say, you mean treat others the way you want to be treated? Yes. And I say, oh, okay. Do you really think that 18-year-old boy over there wants to be treated the way I want to be treated? Well, that's different. Wait a minute. It's not different. When I walk up to a door and there's a man behind me and I open the door and step back and let him go through, he looks like I've slapped him right where it hurts the most. He doesn't want to be treated the way I want to be treated. But the golden rule, I think Jesus learned it in the East. In Chinese philosophy, it said, do unto others as others would have you do unto them. Treat others the way they want to be treated. And in order to find out how they want to be treated, you have to ask them. Then you have to listen to what they say, and if it isn't illegal, immoral, or indecent, you do it. That means you have to communicate with one another. But we white folks have a way, and one of the major differences, behaviorists say, between white people and people of other color groups is, when white people come into a new environment, they immediately adjust the environment to fit their needs. When people of other color groups come into a new environment, they immediately adjust their needs to fit the environment. Yeah, now think about that. And that's what we have done with the Bible. Now the Pope this week, oh my Lord, I'm in love with the Pope. Did you hear what he said this week?
No, but I know you're going to tell me.
Adam and Eve never happened. He said it's a nice story, but it never happened. Oh my Lord, I've just loved the Pope for several years, and now what he has said this week, I just read it someplace, is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He says he's looking forward to the day when women can be important members of the clergy in the Catholic Church, and when Catholics can stop judging people. He says it is not our job to judge people. We must stop it. Is that beautiful?
Exactly. Well, this Pope that's in there now he's different. He's a little different from prior, from other popes.
He is saying things that, oh, mercy, my Catholic aunts would never put up with that for 5 minutes.
So,
anyway.
You've been to quite a few countries, and by the way, y'all, you're listening to the Popular Thought Series on Nubia Hood Radio, the sound of consciousness. If you want to call in, the number is 712-775-7031, 712-775-7031, access code 840-981. We're taking calls. I mean, if you just want to listen in, that's fine too. But you can call in. You can ask some questions because we are live with Mrs. Jane Elliott.
We are live.
We are live with Mrs. Jane Elliott, and we all know her from her blue eyes, brown eyes exercises. Mrs. Elliott, let me ask you this. Do you think the United States is the most racist country? Is the United States the most racist country out of all the countries you've been to?
Oh,
I know you've been to many.
No. I haven't been.
No?
Number one, I haven't been to that many countries. I've been to several, but not a whole lot of them. And I don't think the United States is the most racist country on the face of the earth. The problem for me with the United States is we call ourselves the leaders of the free world. We call ourselves the greatest country on earth. We won't be the greatest country on earth until we stop teaching racism in the schools and until we stop electing people to important positions in this country who are admitted racists and who believe in the myth of white superiority. We are not going to be the greatest nation in the world until we give up this myth and start treating people equitably. Now, I don't talk about equality because we are not equals. And the Constitution does not guarantee us equality. It guarantees us equitable treatment under the law, which means we have to be very, very careful about how we vote this year and every year, because somebody is going to be in charge of, because the Constitution gives them this job, appointing new members to, a couple new members to the Supreme Court. Could be 3 before the 4 to 8 years is up. Now, you want to think very, very carefully about who you vote for this year, because you may not get equitable treatment under the law ever again for a very, very long time if the wrong person gets into the presidency.
Yes, I believe that. I truly believe that.
Yeah, somebody said to me, a black man said to me today, I'm not going to vote. I can't vote for Hillary. I refuse to vote for her. I'm just not going to vote. I'm going to write in my father's name. I said, oh, great. And then when Donald Trump gets elected, I'm going to call you. I've got your number on my telephone. I'm going to call you, and I'm kind of coming after you. He said, why? I said, because you will have helped Donosaurus T. Rump to get elected. Any vote that doesn't go to Hillary is a vote that doesn't go to Hillary, but it doesn't go to Trump. It automatically makes him stronger. You can't do that. You can't write in somebody else because Bernie Sanders isn't going to get enough votes if you write him in. I would write in Bernie Sanders, except he chickened out. If he had kept on trying, I would have written in his name and he'd have won. Enough people would have. But no, he needed to play the game. So he wants to be something. To be something is better than to be nothing. So he dropped out, and that's too bad. So I will hold my nose and vote for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I believe that she's going to win. I don't think, to be honest with you, I just think Donald Trump is playing some stupid game. It's hard to take him seriously. The man refuses to tell the truth.
There are a whole lot of people who do take him seriously because he's saying things they want to hear. They don't realize that he doesn't mean a word of it. He will change every 48 hours. He has a different story to tell and a different thing to believe in. You can't trust him from here to my big toe. And I'm only 5'1". You cannot trust that man. And these people, they believe him because he says things they want to hear. People are saying things like, somebody should have been saying this a long time ago. And I think, well, Adolf Hitler said it. You weren't old enough to vote for him, were you, fool?
Wow. Wow. He's exposed an ugly side of the United States is what he's had. He's exposed an ugly side that has always existed, but he's given it a voice. That's what I believe.
Well, sure, it would be all right if he had just exposed it to the sunlight, and then we could all say, well, really. But no, he not only has exposed it, he has encouraged it. It's an ugly plant that he has watered with his ugly words.
Wow. And
he has made ugliness grow in this country. And he's proud of it. He is proud of it.
Yep.
Anyway, obviously I'm not going to vote for Donosaurus T. Rump. And I would hope that nobody else would either. Well, he has a mouth that looks, you can call him Rump because that's his last name, and he has a mouth that looks like an anal orifice. And every time he opens it, out comes all this excrement. Now, that isn't the kind of thing that you say on a religious show. But if this is a religious show, you should have called
No, Miss Elliott, this is so not a religious show you wouldn't believe it. It's right. So not. It is an open mic show. My guests are allowed to say whatever they want to say.
Well,
that's
don't
what kind of show
Donald
it is.
Trump on your show.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
He doesn't have anything to say on this show that I want to hear as the owner of this show. Okay, and secondly, he doesn't have anything on here that he could say on here that my listeners want to hear. He just doesn't.
Your listeners and their friends and relatives of the black color group need to tell all their friends and relatives for the love of heaven, go and vote.
Yes.
Hold your nose and vote for Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Every one of you. She needs 98% of the black vote.
Yes.
That's what she needs. That can put her over the top. Now, Barack Obama getting the presidency wasn't because white folks had all of a sudden decided that they weren't racist anymore. Barack Obama got elected to the presidency because he was the most fantastic community organizer that I have ever seen in my life. The man was a brilliant community organizer. And if Hillary Clinton would do it the way Barack Obama did, she would have no problem winning this election. He had kids from New York, little young kids. I mean, everybody looks young to me, but they were like 19, 20 to 22 to 23 years old. And they came out here and they hit we have a little, anyway, next to our house, they set up a call center. And they had a list of people to call. They called every one of those people. When they came to town, the people who led them handed each of them a brand new cell phone, sat them down in a corner of the room in the building next to our house, said, here's your list of people. You call these people. Here are the responses you're supposed to give to their responses. It was right down to the nit on a gnat, and they knew exactly how that election was going to go before it was ever started.
Wow.
Yeah. The man is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I believe that, too. I don't agree with all of his stuff, but, I think he's a brilliant man. He is. He is had to be to pull that off.
I don't know whether you know this or whether you're aware of this, people, but he is stopping the privatization of the prison industry. That is one of the most important things that he has done in his presidency.
Yes.
Because if you don't stop the privatization of the prison industry, when you have a private prison, the government can't come in and regulate it. And they can use the people who are in that prison any way they want to. But he is doing away with the private prison industry. That's an absolutely brilliant thing to do.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We've talked about that on this show, too. We've talked about the prison profit industry. I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible.
The prison industrial complex is making money hand over fist, and they're using a lot of it as black labor to do it, and that means we have reinstituted slavery in this country.
Exactly.
And all you have to do is be carrying a toy gun on the playground as a young black male, and you can be shot by a cop who doesn't have to go to prison for doing it.
Yep. We got some stuff going on down here right now where I broadcast from. I mean, the National Guard has been activated. It's crazy, man. The police presence is unbelievable. Okay? It's unbelievable down there.
If you did a good job of teaching in the schools, you wouldn't have that problem. I honestly believe that. I believe education is the answer to this situation. We've had miseducation long enough. Now it's time to have real education. We could have that.
Yeah, it's always been my experience. I don't know about anybody else out there who's listening or whatever, but it's always been my experience that people act a little better when they're a little smarter. They just seem to, I mean, I don't think the world getting smarter would be a bad thing. I just don't.
Well, no. My dad used to call those of us who couldn't chase sheep after we'd gone to college for a couple of years educated fools. He was right. Yeah. You can have top level education. You can still have a fool in the position.
But if our collective intelligence rises, though, wouldn't that kind of minimize, these crazy police confrontations where they kill kids who aren't doing nothing, and if our collective intelligence rises.
Well, if you're talking about intelligence, but they've done studies that prove that the longer you stay in school, the more bigoted you become, because the longer you are exposed to that indoctrination, and the better you get at responding positively to it. So the kind of education, being in school and being intelligent, I think Dinosaurus T. Rump is probably has an IQ of at least 105 on a good day.
Okay.
He's acting like a person with an IQ that you don't want to talk about. He's acting like he isn't, oh my, when he gets his information off the magazine cover or the television, that isn't good enough. I remember when when President Reagan said he hadn't read a book since he was in high school. And I thought, oh, my God, this isn't right. But he also said to a group of women reporters, the reason we have such high unemployment in this country is because of all the women in the workplace.
Mm.
See,
Wow.
that and Hillary Clinton with her super predators who need to be brought to heel. We all say things that we wish later we hadn't said.
Yep, that's true.
But
true.
Trump doesn't. He doesn't wish he hadn't said any of those things. He simply says, "I never said it."
Wow.
See, he doesn't have to be sorry he said it. He just denies that he said it. If it's wrong, totally wrong, then he just denies it. He never has a qualm about denying something he did or said.
Even though you have 20 different videos of him saying this,
Yeah.
he will still come up there and say, "Oh, I didn't say that." Like,
No,
wait a minute, let's watch this tape right here. That's you, right? That is you. I never said it.
Somebody edited the tape. The tape. That's the way I said it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's anyway. What's your next question?
My next question is because I have a few that I have in the stockade. My next question is, what do you see going forward? Besides the racial crap that we know is going to go on if Donald Trump ever at any point even gets close to being the president, but going forward, do you see Hillary Clinton as a person who will work towards trying to kind of, maybe ease? I don't know if she has the ability to do this. I really don't think she has, but maybe possibly trying to make an attempt to make it so race relations aren't as bad as they are. Do you think she's going to come down on the cops? Do you think you'll see more Department of Justice investigations, when these cops kill somebody, that kind of stuff? Do you see that happening?
Well, if she tries, and if she gets the right members to the Supreme Court, she'll get away with it.
Okay.
If we get the right members to the Supreme Court. But if we get some more members who will to do things like make a corporation a person, then her hands are tied. That's what happened with Barack Obama. You have to be very careful about who you elect this year because that person is going to name members to the Supreme Court. I think Hillary has the right instincts. I really do. And I think if the black community and the brown community and the intelligent white community get behind her, if she gets elected, then we can hold her feet to the fire for 4 years because she'll want to get reelected.
Mm-hmm.
And if she wants to get reelected, she better do the right thing the first 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
But she's got to work with people like the Tea Party folks that are still there. And she'll have to work with a couple of members of the Supreme Court that are still there. But if she gets that job and appoints the right kind of person to the Supreme Court, then that will take care of that problem. I think Hillary Clinton knows the right thing to do, but will she do the right thing if the people who support her tell her not to? Well, if people, lots of different color groups are the ones who support her, and they have the numbers, and they're going to have, in the next 8 years, their numbers are going to be constantly, in the next 30 years, the numbers of people of color, groups other than white, are going to grow more than the white color group is going to grow. That's the way it is. So she's going to have to listen to those who are other members of other color groups from now on. She simply has no choice.
Yeah. She's going to have to have some colored people. She's going to have people of color in her cabinet. She's going to have to.
Yes.
It can't be an all-white cabinet. It's not going to. Can't be.
And why do you think Barack Obama has decided to stay in Washington, D.C.?
Wow.
I don't think he's going to stay there just because he can make a lot more money. I think he's going to stay there because he's going to be one of the people who holds Hillary's feet to the fire.
Okay. Well, the official story is he's staying because of the daughter, that he's staying, you know, so she can continue school or whatever. I mean, that's the official story, but, you know.
Well, whatever the official story is, you know, my dad also used to say, believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see.
Exactly. My father used to say the same thing.
Yeah. except now when you're talking about television, believe none of what you hear and none of what you see.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's all a put-up job. But, yeah, my dad was right about that. Believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. And he wouldn't gossip. If he didn't hear it happen, he didn't believe it did.
Now, this is one question I definitely want to ask you before we go, because we're going to wrap up in a few minutes. But I definitely want to ask you this. The type of person that you are, how passionate you are about these things and how you have changed so many people's minds and probably behaviors and ideologies and all of that, how come you never went into politics?
Well, let me tell you the answer to that. Do you have just a minute? Because I've got to give you a really pretty good answer to that. Number one, I'm too honest. Okay. I couldn't possibly be a politician because if somebody came to me and said some of the things that politicians say, I would say, are you out of your mind? Get out of my face. And here is the definition for politician, one of the definitions. A person primarily interested in political office for selfish or other narrow, usually short-sighted reasons. That's one of the dictionary definitions for politician.
Wow.
Now, does that describe Donald Trump to the T? Yeah, think about that. A person primarily interested in political office for selfish or other narrow, usually short-sighted reasons. They're just, Native Americans think 7 generations ahead before they make a decision. White people in this country think 15 minutes ahead before they make a decision. I have an Irish prayer that says, "O Lord, grant me the hindsight to remember where I've been, the foresight to see where I'm going, and the insight not to know when I'm going too far." Now, I haven't used my insight on this interview, obviously, because I've gone too far several times, I'm sure. But that's a great Irish prayer. I want the hindsight to remember where I've been. I know where I came from. I know what I am. The foresight to see where I'm going. I'm very careful about that. And I pray for the insight to know when I'm going too far. I don't think Donald Trump ever gets out of his child ego state, and so he wouldn't even dream of thinking about that Irish prayer.
Wow. Well, I want to say this. The tagline to this show's network is "Open Your Mind." Okay, and you have opened my mind since I've been sitting here just listening to you. It's good. I mean, it's actually magnificent to have you live because like I said, I've been watching your stuff all week. So it's an honor for you to have come on my platform tonight. I appreciate it. I do. I'm pretty sure you've opened a lot of minds of my listeners, my listening audience, and hopefully I can have you back on again at some point, you know.
Like the day after the election, if Donald Trump gets it.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not serious.
that would be something.
He's not going to get it. He is not going to get it. He is not going to get it. God will not do that. God, who is neither a male nor female, but is a spirit and has neither gender nor color, God is not going to make the United States suffer that greatly for our mistakes over the last year.
Yeah, I certainly hope not. I mean, I don't think he's going to win. I don't think he's going to win.
All you folks who are listening to this program are going to vote early, and you're going to vote right.
Oh, absolutely. I'm already registered. I mean, I'm a registered voter down here, so, you know, I don't screw around. I mean, I think voting is very important. I think the locals are probably more effective for the local people, but I think it's also very important to get out there and vote on those national
Everybody
elections.
this year has to vote. Everybody has to go and vote in this presidential election. It's the most important election you'll ever vote in.
Yeah.
The future of the United States hangs on this election. More than ever before more than ever before in the years that I've been alive. The future of the United States hangs on this election.
Wow.
This is serious stuff now. This is not just a joke. Trump is trying to make it a joke. This isn't a joke. This is our children's and our grandchildren's futures, and I will not have them ruined by this fool. Anyway, well, I'm glad you called me. I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to say these things that are going to make a whole lot of people really angry.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure some of the people that's listening to my show, they're probably angry. I don't know. But I don't care, okay? They also know that I don't care. So
they have to read the Myth of Race by Sussman. They have to read The Racial Conditioning of Our Children by Nathan Rutstein. They have to read The Birth Dearth by Ben Wattenberg. And they have to read They Came Before Columbus by Ivan Van Sertima.
Okay. Y'all listening to that, right?
Oh, and they need to read A Collar in My Pocket, which I wrote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ran down a list of your books before you came on, because I was sitting there and I was waiting for you. So, I had to do something. So I just started telling everybody, about the different books you wrote and, kind of giving you an intro, headlining for you.
That book describes what I've learned by doing the exercise with brown-eyed and blue-eyed people and how white people react after half an hour of being treated the way we treat people of other color groups in this country for a lifetime.
Yes. I want
and people need to read that for that reason. It's not because it's a great book. It's not. It's a diary telling what I've learned. But there are things that a whole lot of black people know everything that's in there.
Wow.
But many of them think it's their imagination. It's not your imagination, folks. We're really doing these idiotic things because we're really this ignorant. We're not stupid because you can't fix stupid. We're this ignorant. You can fix that with education.
Oh, ignorance is fixable. I got to use that one. Ignorance is fixable.
Ignorance can be cured. Ignorance can be cured. Stupid can't.
Okay. Yeah, ignorance can be cured. Yes, I'll use that line. Trust me, I'll use it at some point.
You go ahead.
Thank you very much, madam. I appreciate you coming on the Prophet of Thought series here on Nubia Hood Radio. You have a good evening, and it was very enlightening for you to be on here.
I don't want you to be any lighter. That's all right.
Thank you for coming, Mrs. Elliott. And you got to come back. You got to come back, madam.
Okay, if I live, I will.
You'll be around. You'll be around. You'll be around. Thank you.
I'm okay. All right. Bye then.
Good night.
Bye.
Yeah, y'all, we just got off the line with Miss Jane Elliott, and she was being herself. I kind of just let her go. That's what I had planned on doing, just letting her go. I was going to get my few, because I had like 5 questions that I really want to ask her. I only had like 5. So, I get one in here and there, but it was only 5 that I really wanted answered. And shoot, I just let her go. I just let her go. Because, that's what she does, Plus, see, me, I got a lot of respect for older women. See, my grandmothers were sweet old ladies, man. And older women, I just kind of let them go, because I know they got some old school knowledge no matter what color they are and, where they come from. They know way more shit than I know. So they bear some listening. Yeah, they bear some listening. They definitely bear some listening. And Jane Elliott, man, like I was telling her, I've been watching her stuff all week because, here at the Prophet of Thought series, we research our guests. We don't just let them pop up, out of nowhere. When they show up, we done read all their stuff. We done watched all their videos. We done went to their website. We done did all that, okay? Because we ain't going to have no people up here who ain't who they say they are. Trust me, I've had a few who tried to slip in. And they wasn't who they said they was. I guess they didn't think I was going to do the research on them. But like I said, I've been doing research on Jane Elliott like all week. And, her stuff, man, is bears some watching, no matter what color you are. Because trust me, when you watch some of her videos and the exercises and the things that she does, oh, my goodness, man, it will change your mind. It will open your mind, no matter what color you are. And of course you got a few people who are always in the exercises, trying to deny their own racism, trying to deny, who they really are. You're going to see those, but overall, you see her stuff, man, and it's unique the way she does it. because a lot of the people she have in her exercises are white people. You know, it'd be a few people of color, you know, a few black people and maybe a Hispanic person or something like that. But it's mostly white people. Yeah, it's mostly white people. Yeah, it's mostly whites, and it's basically eye color, and it exposes people right off the bat, because right off the bat people start to resist it. People start to it's 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 something bears on watching. So y'all need to look at some of Jane Elliott's stuff, because let me tell you something. Jane Elliott, to be honest with you, has probably done more for black people than a lot of black people have, just by the stuff that she teaches, you know? So, but it is what it is. I just want y'all to know that I'm happy and pleased that y'all have decided to stick with us through all our troubles and trials. We didn't have no mess-ups tonight, y'all. I know y'all used to shit messing up. We didn't have none of that tonight, you know? I mean, I was like, because y'all know, you know, y'all know what be going on up here at the Proper Thought series sometimes. Shit be cutting off. You know, we lose the feed. Shit go blank. You know, that stuff happens up here. It just does. You know, I'm going to tell the truth. It happens. But tonight, everything went off smooth. You know, it was no problems. All the audio was good. My mic was a little loud and shit because Brother Marcus was like, yo, turn your mics down. But other than that, everything went smooth. So it's all good. I'm glad y'all tuned in and watch. Y'all ain't asked no damn questions, though. God damn it, you're just listening like damn stalkers. But but I'm glad y'all listened. You know, y'all came, y'all listened. I hope y'all learned something. I do. I hope y'all learned something, because that's what I try to do. I try to bring y'all guests, because I promised y'all bigger, bolder. And it's not stopping, y'all. It's going to be bigger guests, bolder guests. They're going to be up here on the Prophet of Thought series just for y'all. Okay, just for y'all. Y'all gonna see people that y'all know. Y'all gonna see people that y'all don't know. Y'all gonna see people who aren't that famous, but y'all gonna see people that are very famous. It's coming up. It's September. That means it's a new damn season of the Prophet of Thought series, and we're gonna be coming with some good stuff. Just stay tuned. You're gonna see guests up on here that you would never think or imagine they would be on this show. They are going to be here. Trust me, y'all are gonna see. We're gonna carry this year out really, really good, and we're gonna have some good topics, and we're gonna have some good shows. Y'all got my word on that, and y'all know I don't BS y'all. What I tell y'all I'm gonna do, I deliver. Next week we got it's tentative, but it looks like we're gonna have Dr. Mamie Smith. That's how it's looking. All right. I'll get back to you on it, but that's how it's looking now. And like I said, thanks for tuning in, y'all. You listen to the Prophet Thought series on Nubia Hood Radio, the sound of consciousness. I will see y'all next week, and I will leave y'all with 3 words like I always do. Open your mind. We out. Peace, y'all.
Only from T.P.O.T. Media. Open your minds.